Hey everybody. My dog decides to drink right when I'm waiting for the little countdown for it to be live. Oh well, this is my life. I wanted to make this video yesterday, but for life reasons, I'm making it instead later than I wanted to, but I wanted to explain and actually go through some video clips on YouTube of South Africa, the country, not just the region, had a lengthy discussion and debates about changing certain names, specifically names of people from English travelers that just said, "This is my port." So Port Elizabeth has changed its name, and it's still called PE. One guy even said P. Then it has a bunch of different names to it. So it's not always this one, but with the name change and why, wanted to show you that I keep wanting to say South America. I do not know why. South Africa went back to their roots. So let me go ahead and share those. My babies. All right. I didn't really specifically want to start in a certain order. Not that organized, but as you can see, my longest one is, I haven't watched that long, is 12 minutes. But let's watch this one.
You're live. Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Greetings from Gqeberha, previously known as Port Elizabeth. We're waiting for some people to come on. We don't want to
Can
be
you guys
here
hear
alone,
her?
right? How many people are on?
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, while we're waiting for some people from the friendly city to join us, we are standing over the Barkens Valley of Port Elizabeth, the place where the word Gqeberha originates from. What you see behind me is the beautiful valley that is green and lush and fertile because of the goodness of the Barkens Valley that runs through it, the water that runs through it. When the Khoisan and the Xhosa people met in this special part of the Eastern Cape, they formed a friendship. They formed a unity, they intermarried and created communities, lived alongside each other and made friends. And when I imagine, when they looked at this valley and they looked at that beautiful river, all of Port Elizabeth looking quite wild as what you see behind me at that time, when they looked at it, they used the word Gqeberha to describe it. And this is where we find ourselves today, overlooking the Barkens Valley and appreciating the lushness that the word Gqeberha comes from. The name was then used to name the Walmer Township a little bit later, and now I want to show you, or teach you rather, how to pronounce the word Gqeberha. It has 3 clicks, right? As I said, the word is a combination of Khoisan as well as isiXhosa. The first click is the GQ.
So when she says the Khoisan and the Khoisan and the other group, those were the two tribes in this area. So they combined their language and decided to mate with one another. So they married, had kids. So their two different languages became not just one, but enter, I don't know. Like, so let me go ahead and have her explain it, but they're two different tribes.
As you know, in Xhosa, a Q is G. Now, when you put a G in front of it, it becomes a deeper sounding G sound. So that is the first click. The second click is the B, which is a B, Gqeberha. You make this B sound by almost sucking in the air between your lips and smacking your lips together to make a B sound, Gqeberha. And the last one, which Afrikaans speakers will probably know how to do, is the G from the R sound. Now, in Afrikaans, the G is a G. In isiXhosa, the G is an R. And that is the last click. It's the G of the R. And there you have it. That is how you pronounce Gqeberha.
Hi, Antics.
Gqeberha. Gqeberha, Gqeberha. I'm sure we'll all get used to it. But for me personally, this word represents unity. It represents coming together. And that's what we do, right, as the people of the Friendly City. No matter what we're named, we are still the Friendly City. And goodbye, friends. Practice your Gqeberha.
Hey, Power. So, like she was explaining, it's more culture, but she is calling it not Port Elizabeth. She's calling it the Friendly City. I will show you the different names that it has. So, like I said, the longest one is 1239, and I didn't even watch that. This one was really good.
Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So initially I wasn't gonna have a video this week just because my week is quite crazy, but
So as you've been seeing, these are the name changed 4 years ago. And what this woman does is go around the office and ask them unknowingly. They kind of are shocked that they are being asked, okay, you have two questions. One, how do you spell how do you pronounce the new name of our city? And two, how would you teach someone? So let me show you.
shoots and being on different scenes and locations. And I'm actually really tired because I worked through the weekend. But I thought, let me just like a short video of how our name change has affected people. It will be simply just like showcasing how people pronounce the new city's name, how they would teach other people to pronounce it. Just a fun short video of people that I encounter during my day while either location scouting or talent scouting. Yeah, so enjoy. I want to ask you a question. Do you know what our new name for our new city, for our city is? And say it again. Say it again.
Gqeberha.
And how would you teach someone to pronounce it?
To eat a lot of Wilson's sweets.
Hello, Caitlin. You're going to teach on my channel.
Oh, sure.
But so I have a question. What's our city's new name? And because I want you to hear you say it. And also, how would you teach somebody else that doesn't know how to say it? Like, what would you?
Okay, so our city's new name is Gqeberha.
Ivan.
I guess I would teach someone first that the H...
How do you remember it as well?
Well, I remember first the H is not her, like it's her. You know, Gqeberha. And then the, like Snoop Dogg.
I love it.
That's how I would do it.
Thank you so much. Hello, Yolandi.
Hi, Lisa.
So 2 questions.
Yes.
What's the name of our new city?
Oh gosh.
And how would you teach somebody else to pronounce it? Like how do you remember it?
Okay, it is Gqeberha. You taught me how to click in the palette.
Yes.
Like that, not like a click.
Yes.
And then the Becha You said it's like, did you say it's like Gqeberha, but harder? Hey?
Yeah.
You told me that. So yeah, that's how I remember.
Oh, you cute, you. Hi, Laura Ann.
Hello.
So 2 questions. What's the name of our new city, number 1? And secondly, how would you teach somebody else how to pronounce it?
Okay, so I tried to say it. It is Gqeberha. Did I
Okay?
get it right?
Gqeberha.
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 Not a
Ah,
You're clicking with your tongue.
Where am I meant
Put
to
your
be
tongue
clicking?
up at the roof of your of your mouth.
Now I can't say a word after that.
Okay, how do you remember it as well? Are
Um,
there things that you like, words that you remember that make you remember the actual
well, everyone
name?
says it sounds like Kabiga with a kwa.
Oh, and
Okay.
people have been saying that.
Yes.
Thank you, Laura Ann.
That was good.
Hi, Nandi. So 2 questions, which you probably know. What's the name of our new city, the one that we're in? And then the
Okay.
second one is the second one is, how would you teach somebody else to pronounce it, especially the other race?
So it's obviously Gqeberha, and I mean, I feel like they do use clicks like Q's and stuff. So it's just
Associating it with something.
yeah, it's associating with something, or maybe they don't know how to put them like the Gqeberha
together. So how would you teach them? What words would you put together to teach them?
What English words have Q's?
It doesn't have to be English. It can be any closer word that they actually know.
Oh, because they like saying Yankela. So if they can say that, then I mean, you can say Gqeberha. But those that obviously are learning, like your Brendas, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's just practice, guys. Like practice.
Okay,
Say
cool.
it all the time.
Thank you so much. Hi, Tanya. How are you? Okay, 2 questions. What's the name of the new city? And how would you teach somebody else to pronounce it?
How am I supposed to do it if I can't say it myself? Gqeberha. Gqeberha?
Gqeberha.
Gqeberha.
Yes, actually.
Gqeberha.
And how do you remember it? Do you
It
have words
sounds like
that-
Gqeberha. Gqeberha.
That's what all white people
Everyone's saying that. Thank you, Tanya. Hello, Tamara. How are you?
I'm getting you.
I'm good, thank you. So 2 questions. What's the new city name, and how would you teach somebody else how to pronounce it?
Wait. I've been practicing my click, so maybe I might not get it.
Okay.
But it's Gqeberha.
Okay. And how do you remember the word?
I'm like, so what I'll explain it to someone is like putting your tongue on your palate
Yes.
and like go like right, and then once you've gotten that, like be and then ga, you know, like
Ga.
I'm not yeah, so it's Gqeberha.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Okay.
Hello, lovelies.
So, sorry, I got distracted just in my mind thinking of how you learn a new language. You don't have like these. Oh, no, I'm gonna get distracted. You don't have all these let's see. My goodness. Stop sharing. It's got ugly. When you're learning a new language, you're not going around of how you say it. You're just mimicking when you're younger. But when you're an adult and it's like, oh, hey, how does this go? Especially if you're in that culture already. And you do know there is still this language that is very much alive, the clicking. And so I will show you a video in a little bit of what the name means and what the whole debate was. I researched, tried to find the news, but I wanted to see kind of how bloggers and other people reacted to this. So not everybody says this name how it's said or pronounced, and some people just give up and they call it PE or others. But I find it that going back to your roots and going back to the people that live there, that you're not taking on somebody that just claimed the port, an English man that has no ties with African culture, no tribes, but they are kind of taking it back and saying, hey, the river's named this. And it is actually like the trees. And I think it's the color of the tree. But so you're just learning a little more history. And the great debate is what it took. And then they changed, I think, 4 cities. And the airport is no longer called Port Elizabeth. So I doubt any Scientologist cares. They're going to call it what it is because L. Ron Hubbard has history in this town. But for even Americans to have like a white man, I don't know, and then having that divided, like, I have the answers. And here this tribe has their own culture. Dude, you either live the land and don't just change it, because if any of you guys seen my deep dive on Uganda with T. Perth audit, we were investigating this thing individually for months, not knowing that each other were investigating it. And in Uganda, what I found, and I'll say it shortly because it's, they're tribes, they're little villages, not even called cities. Port Elizabeth is a city. But in Uganda, there's this private school, and the volunteer ministers are conning the Scientologists, saying that this is all these kids are orphans at an orphanage, but it's really a private school that parents pay money. And it is a year before T and I found it. This one guy blew the whistle, was a whistleblower, and did a deposition of all this stuff. But the law is different in Africa. So I am glad that South Africans are taking the stance, saying, here's the culture, here's the people now, let's celebrate it. So here is another video.
South Africa's city, Port Elizabeth, was renamed to Gqeberha. Here's why. Hello watchers, welcome back to Africa Revealed. As some of you might know, or maybe not, many of the cities and towns in South Africa are currently being renamed. Renaming a city or town is a big deal and not done without quite thorough thought. Today, we will be looking at the South African city, Gqeberha, which was known as Port Elizabeth until early 2021. In this video, we will specifically be discussing the renaming and reason for renaming one of the most populated cities in the Eastern Cape, the South African city, Gqeberha. Today, we will be...
So this court is right next to, or right around the corner of St. Mary's Church. Hang on. Where the new Ideal Org is. So I'm trying to see, because the library is a really, really old building. And so here I thought logistically using that court, but they won't be able to use that court. You wouldn't be able to see it, but it's more down this area, like around this corner. But sorry.
Looking at the South African city Gqeberha, which was known as Port Elizabeth until early 2021. In this video, we will specifically be discussing the renaming and reason for renaming one of the most populated cities in the Eastern Cape. The city already had a few nicknames before the official change from Port Elizabeth to Gqeberha. Some people nicknamed it the Windy City, the Friendly City, Ibai, and most cut it short to plain and easy PE. So why go through all the trouble to change a heavily populated city which already has a simple name? Watchers, sit back and relax while I take you through a quick journey through history. Before we continue, take a moment to subscribe to the Africa Revealed channel. If you're curious about things outside of your own country, or even just curious about your own country, I urge you to join the Africa Revealed family, as we will keep you engaged and on the edge of your seats with lots and lots of new information. Last thing before we start spitting facts, remember to like this video and leave a thought in the comments. The answer to PE's name change, in short, is actually quite simple. We South Africans are very cultural, and we...
If you guys noticed, that was the public library right across the street from, or right next to, the Ideal Org.
love honoring our heritage. We even have a holiday called Heritage Day, which we celebrate on the 24th of September every year. But this particular holiday did not influence the name change, and we will still get to public holidays. The city's name change sparked great debate across South Africa between citizens of all languages and cultures. The reason for this is that firstly, the name Gqeberha is hard to pronounce, especially for those who do not speak Xhosa. And let's face it, just because Xhosa is the second most widely spoken first language in South Africa, it does not mean that it is all-inclusive. Non-Xhosa speakers are familiar with the click sound, as in they've heard it, but many struggle to get the pronunciation right and often give up trying to pronounce it correctly. The second topic of debate doubted the official and final reason given for the change. The official reasoning behind the name change is to be more inclusive of the culture found in the city. In this case, the biggest population of indigenous South Africans are from the Xhosa culture. Debate started because claims were made that Gqeberha is not even a Xhosa word, which is true. So how could the name change justify inclusiveness if it isn't even inclusive at all? What now? Let us have a closer look at the word Gqeberha and its origins. Gqeberha is a Southern Khoi word meaning full of firethorn tree. This particular tree is also known as Ciercia pyroides, or Daibos in Afrikaans. Now, this is prominent because the first people to have lived in the area were the Khoi and San people, who decided to name the river that flows through the area Gqeberha, named after the many firethorn trees that surround the river and the area.
From London to New York and around the world, from the stage...
Sorry, guys. I did not know a commercial was gonna go right
to the big screen, the worldwide...
The breakdown of Gqeberha is thus Gqebe, that means firethorn tree, and Kha, meaning full of, therefore full of firethorn trees. The area was not named by the Khoi and San, but they named the river, and others that arrived there would refer to it as Gqeberha, due to the river being there. Only later on did the Xhosas move into the area. Thereafter, the British established a colony. This makes Gqeberha an authentic Southern Khoi word, which was adopted by the Xhosas, known as a name for the river that flows through the area. The spelling of Gqeberha is not Southern Khoi, as Southern Khoi is based on another alphabet with more sound combinations and a more complex sound system than Xhosa. Southern Khoi is formed from the Kwekwe language and uses most sounds from its sound.
So what she was saying, if you guys didn't catch that, is that they named the river before the English settlers came and then claimed it Port Elizabeth. So that's why it was there, and it's from their heritage. And to understand their history, why, and to keep the culture. And there's indigenous people still there in a large group of them. So coming from white, English, Irish, and all these wars and claiming land, I'm all for the people. And culture and knowing where you come from. Because I gotta tell you, I'm a mix of all wrong history and fighting just for human decency. So I am all about learning new languages and where people come from, and they can actually tell people their history and know that there's, this language that still exists. They hear it, but now you can kind of learn it and use some words and what it means. So I'm thankful that I wish I knew this 4 years ago, but I wasn't fighting Scientology 4 years ago. And to hear that the ideal Port Elizabeth is going to open. Let me say that again because I couldn't spit it out. The ideal Port Elizabeth org is going to open, but Port Elizabeth is nowhere on the writing. Like when I put the Port Elizabeth in the Google Maps, yes, it took me to where Port Elizabeth was, but there was no Port Elizabeth. Also, the airport that used to be called Port Elizabeth is called Chief David Sturman International Airport. Let me share this with you. For some reason, it's not allowing me to. So that was one of the names that changed. So it even changed in Wikipedia. The airports. It's known as the 10-minute airport. Let's see. It's international, but it's no longer Port Elizabeth. They changed a couple of other city names, but because I'm not covering them, I didn't have it really prepared, and I don't know how many videos you guys want to see for proof of how to pronounce it. I truly doubt David Miscavige is practicing his clicks. I didn't. Let me see if I can find it. I doubt I can find it real quick. I took, of course, a ton of screenshots. There's this. I want to say it's like a newsletter, but it's like a magazine type thing. And it talked about the sustainable villages that they want to create, the ministries, the ones that they're saying, hey, this is an orphanage, when it's not. And so Scientologists are paying for their courses and all their Dianetics training, TR training. It's And then, of course, like, took 3 years for a roof. And it's American dollars for like a mattress they're asking, and not African prices. So the change in dollar, like, no one suspect that a Scientologist would lie to you, or lie to their fellow Scientologists. And but in this magazine, the wording alone just tells me what they think of people that they believe have less. It's in one of the wordings, it was to build our ideal village, not their ideal village or what they want. It's, Scientology's ideal village. And then you get to the bottom of it, like I kept reading, the bottom of it was like, you need to move out of your area, you need to learn English. Well, David Miscavige, you need to learn clicking to pronounce the new Port Elizabeth, unless you're going to call it the Friendly City, the Windy City, or any other nickname. Because I guess if you are going to call it Port Elizabeth, you can. There's a good portion when I was doing my research that still call it Port Elizabeth and things, but you know what, if you're gonna stay there, you might as well learn the culture. But yeah, I will post all these links to the videos, even the ones that I didn't show you, for further research if you want to do it on your own. I won't bore you anymore with my diving into all this stuff. The map is going along well. I am finding more closed things while I'm trying to figure out what that pin was, because they have taken some of my pins. They have changed, really updated what it looks like on the Google Maps, not just random Scientology this, but they'll update what it is, or what it will classify. One classifies as a club, one classifies as a church or an association. But it's interesting because some of them didn't say any of that. Now they have a little more information. And so I'm adding to my cards, and then I'm adding, of course, some of the information onto the spreadsheets. And I'm going to continue doing that probably till the day I die, but it's coming along. I have a lot done. Yeah, it's coming, guys.